Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brainbean here again, back with another keyboard review for you. Now, today we're going to take a look at the Alpherior Keys Hayabusa. Now, I think this keyboard could really be a contender to give the Ducky 1-2 Mini a run for its money, particularly for those gamers out there that still want fast switches and want flashy-looking keyboards. I think this is a really good contender for that. Now, before we dive into the video, I do want to say that I hope you guys are staying home, staying safe, self-isolating. As somebody who is married to somebody in healthcare, has best friends that work in healthcare, I worked in healthcare personally for 7 years in the emergency room, so I know how important this is, and I just want to say, I hope you guys are using this time to just stay home and play video games. But with that, let's check out the Alpherior Keys Hayabusa. Starting as always with construction and design, the Alpherior Keys Hayabusa is a 61 key, 60% mechanical keyboard. The casing on the board is made of a matte black plastic that won't pick up fingerprints, and it's one solid piece. Now this means that there are no extendable legs on the underside of the keyboard, but it does come in at a nice 20-degree angle, which is nice and comfortable enough to type on. Despite its plastic construction, the board is still fairly weighty for its size, coming in at 600 grams or around 1.3 pounds. The metal plate the switches are mounted onto does a good job at adding some heft to the board, and there is very little flex on this one. The footprint's about as small as can be expected for a keyboard this size, coming in at 29.3 centimeters by 10.3 centimeters, and it's about 3.2 centimeters at its highest point. Aesthetically, this board is about as simple as it gets. There's no branding to speak of, and the bezels are super small. Speaking of aesthetics, I think at this point it's a good time to address the colorways of the keycaps, since that is a major factor of this keyboard. Alpherior Keys is known for their keycaps, and they offer an absolute ton of colorways. When picking out a Hayabusa, you can actually choose between quite a few different options of Alpherior's more popular colorways, and I think this is a really cool way to do this, as it lets you customize the look of your keyboard without having to go out and buy another set of keycaps after the fact. An average 61 key set from Alpherior Keys is around $40, so this is a really good value add. These keycaps are made of double-shot PBT plastic, and they have a mildly textured surface and a really nice clean font to them. The lighter keycaps do have some light bleed through the actual keycap itself, but I like that on these keycaps it's more diffused throughout the entire key instead of just being a blob of light behind the character. As for the lighting, the Hayabusa currently has 18 pre-programmed lighting zones that can be changed directly on the keyboard. Now, Alpherior Keys does have a software coming out that you can use to configure this keyboard. However, with all the stuff going on in the world these days, it's been delayed. As it sits right now, the pre-programmed effects range from standard color waves to reactive effects and many more. I'm actually pretty happy with the diversity on these effects. Now, you can also change the colors and the speed of most of these as well. On the keyboard, you can also record custom macros, and the upcoming software just aims to make this process a lot simpler with a nice clean user interface. The Hayabusa is available in two switch varieties, the Kale Bronze and Silver switches. You can think of these as variations of Cherry Speed switches with super fast actuation points of 1.1 millimeters and a total travel of 3.5 millimeters. The Bronze switch is a clicky switch with an actuation force of 50 grams, and the Silvers are linear switches with a 40 gram actuation force. I will say that I wish they had a tactile option, but maybe they'll offer one in the future. In my opinion, there are good and bad points to having these fast switches. On the one hand, for gaming in particular, they offer a really nice, quick, light, responsive switch that reduces fatigue and offers a snappy reaction to your inputs. On the other hand, they make it tough to learn how to type on them because they are so hyper-responsive. This is mainly more of an issue with the Silver switches than the clicky Bronze switches, but it still will come up. The board uses cherry plate mounted stabilizers that do have a bit of rattliness to them. Now, because these switches aren't hot swappable, you could inject some dielectric grease in there to help with it, but you can't really band-aid mod and do all that kind of stuff with it. Now keep in mind, because I am reviewing the clicky variant of this keyboard, you won't notice the rattle as much, which I guess you could say is sort of a bonus side effect of having clicky switches. But just so you can hear what I'm talking about, here is a quick sound test. The Hayabusa is a wireless keyboard that can be paired with up to 3 Bluetooth devices at once, and it has an 1800 milliamp hour battery, which is going to give it around 4 hours per charge. The board has a 6-foot removable USB-C cable that's nicely braided, and you can of course use this keyboard wired as well as wireless, so if you want to have it charging or you just want to keep it plugged in, you've got options. Overall, this keyboard comes in at $135, but it's currently on sale for $130. There's not a whole lot that I take issue with on this one. The main thing is that there's currently no tactile switch option and the somewhat limited customization, but that's going to be improved with the upcoming software, so I'm not really going to knock them for that. And I do wish that the battery life could be a little bit longer on this one. I do like that this board feels solidly built, and as far as 60%ers go, it's a super clean keyboard with those nice slim bezels. And let's face it guys, the 60% layout here is getting more and more popular, and there's an ever-growing number of boards out there. Obviously the big dog in this space is the Ducky 1-2 Mini, which costs around $100, so why should you consider the Hayabusa over the 1-2 Mini? The 1-2 Mini is a fantastic keyboard with its own set of merits, but the Hayabusa in particular checks a lot of boxes for me. It feels more modern both in look and feel with the kill speed switches, and I see this board in particular being a really great option for gamers in general because of the fast switch options and the flashy keycaps, which can give you a ton of different colorways. It's basically a one-stop shop for a keyboard that's going to give you the performance of top-end gaming keyboards with those fast switches, with the look of a custom build with the striking PBT keycaps. Add to that the quality feel and wireless capability, and you've got yourself a winner in my book. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Let me know in the comments down below how you think this keyboard stacks up against the Ducky 1-2 Mini, or some of the other 60%ers that are out there on the market today. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, you can give it a like to show your support. And if you're new here on the channel, I'd love to see you subscribe. I've got a lot more videos like this coming for you in the near future. You can also follow me on Twitter at Brainbean Gaming for updates on everything that's going on with the channel. And I hope you guys are staying safe and be careful out there. These are crazy times, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.